I'd recall this meeting to order. We're back in session. I don't have an agenda in front of me other than, do we have a resolution board at all?
We do, there's not many. We go through them one at a time, it should be pretty easy overall. It should be pretty one, but are we ready for the resolution?
Yes.
board?
You ready yet?
I'm ready.
All right, Youngstown 2D,
I think that's a no.
That's a no vote.
I think you just missed the mark.
Yeah.
Youngstown 2D,
Any training for you? Oh, that's a yes vote.
That's a yes vote.
Yep, that's a yes.
Youngstown 2C,
It's a no vote, I would say.
It's a no vote.
most of these are pretty standard.
Yeah.
Thought the board should at least take a look at them.
Is there something to do?
Youngstown 3C,
No, they don't know.
I think it's a yes.
we're gonna balance
No,
off.
that's a no vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, no vote.
I think that's a no vote.
Uh-huh.
If we're gonna balance Miss Mark, they should at least take a look.
Yeah.
Youngstown 3C,
That's a no vote.
That's a no vote.
Yep, circled it.
Youngstown 6C,
That's a
No
no vote.
vote.
Yep.
Youngstown 6E,
No vote.
No vote.
Nope.
Struthers 2B,
It's a yes vote.
It's a yes vote.
Canfield City 6.
It's a little different.
No,
Yeah.
That's a no vote.
It's a no vote.
All right. 4 and 13.
That's a maybe.
I think that's a no vote.
Yeah. Well, I think it's not marked vote, because they can't really say no vote.
I think it's, what I mean is,
They didn't vote.
they didn't vote.
Yeah, it's a non-vote.
It's
a
kind
non-vote.
of like,
Non-vote,
it's a
yeah.
non-vote, they're in
Non-vote,
between the
okay.
two.
Sebring 2.
That's a no vote.
No vote.
Correct.
Sebring 2.
That's a yes vote. She signed her name to it.
Some of these new to you, like what they're doing, and
This one's kind of new, but no.
It's a yes vote.
Yeah, we've seen most of this.
Obviously, she wants us to know who she is.
Yeah.
I guess it's a yes vote, she signed it.
Poland Township 2.
That's a yes vote.
For
Poland
sure,
Township
that's a yes one.
2.
I think so.
No vote.
I would say that's a no vote.
Canfield Township 3.
No vote.
No vote.
Canfield
No
Township
vote.
3.
That's a yes.
That's a yes vote.
Foreman 35.
Henry,
That's a yes vote.
It's a yes vote.
yes, that's a yes vote.
Beaver Township 7.
That's a yes vote.
It's a yes vote.
Oh, sorry.
4 more.
She's
Poland
holding on
Township
to it,
9.
that's a yes vote.
That's a yes vote.
That's a yes vote.
Poland Township
Yes.
9.
Yes vote.
Look at these sisters, yes vote.
Yep.
Poland Township 12.
No vote.
Yes.
No, you mean
Circle.
no vote.
No, I mean no vote, yes. I agree. I agree.
Yes, it's a no vote?
It's a no vote,
Yes,
yes,
it's no.
no. It's like which way you turn, right or left?
It's a no vote. not
Okay, it's a
vote,
no
but
vote, it's a
vote.
non-vote, no vote. It's a no vote.
Springfield Township 5.
It's a yes vote.
Six.
That's a yes vote.
Okay, that's a yes vote. Yeah, that ain't.
Well, I caught up with the absentees.
Okay.
Everything's been scanned. Chris will,
So as soon as 7 hits, we can calculate, right?
7:30.
Oh, 7:30, I'm sorry.
big steady turnout today, heavy in some areas. Our biggest problem today has been these yard signs, all over the place.
Well,
From the
let's,
city to Sebring.
so Joyce had a good point. The churches might have a particularized problem with this election in November. So we're gonna have to make sure our contracts are solid, and make sure that whomever we're contracting with, that they're just calling it down the middle.
Yeah, and we had this trouble in the past, the church in Poland,
Right.
probably know what it is.
Farther, yeah.
So, I mean,
And we left Holy Name,
Yeah,
Holy
we left
Family,
Holy Name.
we left Holy Family because of
but
that.
we're gonna have, I mean, it's gonna be, in my opinion, I'm just one of four, it's gonna be incumbent on the two of you to educate them, look, if you wanna keep this contract, you can't interfere with signs or,
Well, I would like to read the contract, and I would like the polling locations called, because as I read the duties of the board, one of the duties of the board is to make sure that all polling locations are satisfactory to the voters. So, it's really incumbent on us to, be watchdogs for Tom and
I understand that, but the point
Melissa.
is when we are renting their space for a polling location,
Well, that's in the
I don't need the
contract now.
priest inside telling people how to do something. I mean, to me, everyone has to obey the same rules.
But is that in our contract now? Because I think we have put that electioneering is, and I think the prosecutor wrote the contract for us,
Yes, but I mean, I think we could even be a little more specific.
specific about signage.
Like, we just did this with the poll
Right.
worker classes because people are starting to remind them what they're not allowed to say, and what they're allowed to say. And we can add that to the contract, that when we're there, we can put that specifically in there about the signs, so that they're signing it.
Signage, put signage in.
Yeah, like how we just did with the weapons. We just
Right.
added it so that it was
Right.
clarified. And I don't think it's bad for us to reach out to them and reiterate to them, hey, listen, if this is gonna be problematic for you, we need to.
Yeah, I mean, this is my point, Melissa and Tom. Some of these churches might have a philosophical problem with this vote. And if they do, then we need to know it and move that polling location. But we need to do it now rather than,
I think we've had this problem in the past. We had it at Old North and Canfield. We've had it several times. And half the time, you can say what you want to them, and you can have them sign a contract, and you can go out there,
Right.
and they're gonna do
I
what they
know, but
wanna do.
this is a very
I know it is,
polarizing
but I'm just
issue.
telling you,
Okay? And it's a very, for a lot of people, it's a personal religious
it
issue.
is a religious issue.
Okay,
It is.
so we need to be diligent as a board that we run a fair election and don't tilt it one way or another. That, look, if you have a problem with this vote, or that people will be coming into your church and voting for this amendment, then we need to know now, because we're gonna have to move that location, we gotta notify all those voters.
Which really, it would behoove us to work real hard on coming to an agreement with them, because we really don't have a lot of time before we have to get everything done. So would you like the verbiage in the contract, and Joyce, you would like to see it?
Yes, but I also know that where my location is, Bethel Lutheran, is right across the street from West Boulevard School, which is a huge school.
It used to be our location.
It used to be our location. We got out of the schools because of the gun issues. But if you had, I don't think that that's gonna be an issue,
Well, I
It would
think
be an
that,
issue at a church too.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Right,
Sandy.
yeah.
no, I think it's gonna be an issue at a church, so I think any polling locations that's a church, we need to write the pastor and say there's gonna be a very contentious issue on the ballot. If you have a problem with us using your facilities, let us know now. But we're gonna expect you to honor the contract and to let the voters have their say.
Yeah,
And the problem with that is some have already signed the contract for November, correct?
Yeah, but if they can't,
They can't,
they
fulfill the
have,
contract.
yeah, look, we're allowed to breach a contract if someone says, I can't let someone in my congregational hall that's gonna vote for this.
Right.
Sure.
Then we have to know that,
Sure.
right?
But do we know who specifically they are? Then we had to need a conversation with their
I
pastors.
think that, well, first of all, I think it only applies to the churches. And I think a letter from
But
you,
we use a lot of churches.
well, 50%, right?
Not quite 50. Not like 50.
All I'm saying is, write a letter to
A lot
them
of churches.
sooner rather than later, saying, this issue's gonna be on the ballot. You let us know now if this is a problem.
Now, I was at St. Pat's, there was no problem. I was at the one in Austintown across from, whatchamacallit, there was no problem. St. Michael's, there was no problem. I mean, it's,
So
I
really,
think,
it was two
it's-
locations.
it's-
Right now, it's two.
yeah.
Well, but the this is just the 60%
Yeah, this is just-
issue.
yeah.
This isn't the actual issue.
Right.
Okay, so there are some people that are so passionate about this issue that they might not feel comfortable
Sure.
allowing their facilities to be used. So we need to know that sooner rather than later.
I think that one in Old North a few years ago, we went out, took all the signs down. Because we had to.
They were gonna throw us out, he was gonna close the church
That day.
that day,
So we took every sign out.
yeah,
Okay, we can't have that.
no, yeah.
Are we still using that as a polling
No,
location?
no.
Got out
Got
right
out
after
there.
that.
So you want us to send a letter and make sure they're aware of it?
Well, we're gonna
update
pass
our
the board.
contract.
We're gonna pass the motion. Let's just have a discussion about it. Okay.
I
This
make-
is, go ahead.
I make a motion that we contact all the churches in Mahoning County, their polling locations, tell them the issue, get it set in writing, what the issue is. If they need to sign another contract, then we need to either leave them or sign another contract.
Yeah. We know this is a contentious issue, but for this day, we are renting your location to vote on this issue. We can't have voters be interfered with, we can't have speech being suppressed on either side.
This
Okay?
could displace tens of thousands of voters in Penn, because if we lose St. Nick's and Struthers, that's all
It's
Struthers.
12.
Well, there was a lot of problems with St. Nick's.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of problems.
Well, look, we have an obligation to provide a place for people to vote that's not intimidating. If the pastor's gonna be standing out there screaming at people, that we have to intervene then.
Which location was that today? The pastor was?
Spanish evangelical.
Spanish
And
evangelical.
St. Nick's. But I'm not, I had the staff, they're calling the voting location manager at St. Nick's now because somebody said that it was our manager that was yelling. So I'd like to find out why would that be and do like an.
Because that
after-
happens at St. Nick's, that's not
Right. To find
Yeah,
out what-
that's just-
Which,
All right, so Joyce has put a motion on the floor instructing the directors to write a letter to all the churches, informing them what's gonna be on the ballot in November, and if they have a philosophical or if this is a problem that people are gonna be using their facilities to vote for something that is strictly against their, we have to work on the letter.
yeah, we have to work on it
Yeah.
because it's interfering with the people that are coming to vote. Because there's been lots of issues that we've had in churches before, that it hasn't been an issue.
Right.
But if they've got somebody at the door that's standing at them, wanting to know how they're gonna vote and how they should vote or shouldn't
Yeah.
vote,
And it's
then
really
that's
not
the biggest
partisan.
issue.
It's not really partisan, it's an issue for us as a board.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's our obligation to ensure that we have voting places that are unencumbered, where people can go and exercise their First Amendment right to vote, and their right to be heard unencumbered and not being shouted down or shut down or intimidated or anything else. So, look, I understand that this abortion issue is very contentious for some people. I get it, okay? And we need to, right now, find out if this is gonna be a problem for any of these churches, because we don't need a week before them saying you can't use our church.
Probably help if we send a letter, maybe even hand delivered to some of the pastors.
And I would call them, if you can't hand deliver, call them the phone.
Yeah, I think getting a letter, I think a letter's good because it's in writing, but I
Right.
definitely,
I
I think it's a little more, yeah.
And that this is one election.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because our
you
goal
tell
would
that
be-
poll
wanna
worker
lose.
that is
Until we
not
can
our
look at
position,
This is sort of
and then we will
preparation.
move the
This
location
is
if you
sort
have a
of
problem.
preparation for next year.
Okay.
Because next year you're gonna have a pretty
All right,
pretty bad
thank you.
primary, and who knows how the general will go.
So that was Mike Ray that just called me. He said, the one poll worker there said that this is an abortion issue and that they have a problem with that sign being up on their property.
Who's they?
This-
You don't mean a poll worker for us? You
Yes,
mean
a
somebody
poll worker.
campaigning?
a poll worker who was working that poll, Mike taped it, so let's see it, said that the poll worker came out and said, this is a church, you can't have that sign up.
Where was he?
Well, is it, because his
No,
last
the
place,
Spanish.
Well, yeah,
And I also have a problem with, I went into all the polls today, I didn't know who anybody was by name. I could not tell, some had everybody had manager on their.
Yes, they did. I
And-
noticed
I
that today
noticed that
too.
today.
Yeah,
too.
and that's a real problem, because I don't understand why it used to be, they had to write their name, you gave them a badge, they wrote their name on the badge, and that was, they would come up to me and say, "Hi Joyce, how are you?" And I'd be looking at, "Hi, how are you? Everything's fine," So I really would like to sign the names to be put back on the badges, so when, and the one who I had a problem with it,
I don't know
the one I
why.
had a problem with St. Michael's, couldn't get his name, he wouldn't give me his name, but he was a worker, he was a poll worker, and he's telling everybody to vote yes. And, I mean,
I was in there too, nobody said any of that.
well, no,
when was
because
there.
I said, I warned him, I said, you really can't do this, you have to be nonpartisan when you're working for the board,
Right.
and he was
I
okay
went
with
to
it.
St. Christine's and they all had manager and all.
Yeah, and the one was a precinct committee woman of mine, and I couldn't remember her name.
If they didn't have their names on their tag.
No, they had either location, machine manager, they all had manager,
Oh, they had their title and not their name?
no, title and no name,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And I don't know, is that in the law, they have their name or something?
That
All
might
right,
have been-
so wait a minute, let's get back to square one.
Okay, we have a motion.
We have a motion, I believe Sandra seconded it, did you not?
No, didn't do anything yet, but I will second
All right,
it.
Sandra seconded it. Now we're having discussion about it. I think this is gonna be a bigger problem than we think,
Yeah.
okay? These churches might have a problem with people using their facilities to vote for something that is against their religious beliefs. And we need to know that sooner rather than later. Because if we have to switch polling locations, we have to notify all those voters.
Well, like Joyce said, and Mike called, we need to make sure that the poll workers know that they're not allowed to voice their opinion when people come to
They
vote.
know that.
They know.
That's part of the
Well, I know it's
training
part of the
year after year.
training, but
And
like you
actually,
said, this
this
is getting
time-
contentious about all of this.
Yeah, this issue is more contentious than who you're voting for president. This is a very
We'll see about that.
No, I mean, not like this.
So
This
that's
is-
just, that issue is always the single, it
It's been
drives
for
the
years
voter,
and
right?
years and years, yeah.
So this time when we had our
Perhaps we'll
training,
start
we
with
added a heavy piece of ethics and what you're allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say from our last go-round. We had some issues when the voter rotation manager had to switch with the AVLM because of the governor's race, they were unhappy. So we hit that pretty hard. There's really no problem re-hitting that and then talking about sensitivity to the issues that are political and that they're not supposed to be talking about it at all. We do that. It's 850 people that are out there. It's kind of hard to.
I understand
And
that,
some
but
notice.
what I
we'll
don't
keep
wanna
trying.
have happen is a pastor of a church
Oh my goodness.
walking through his church hall saying, I have a problem with people voting for this.
And may I say, if we don't address it and something critical comes up, you two might stay, but the four of us would go.
Yeah.
And that's the
But I think,
absolute
don't we all
reality.
agree we're gonna address?
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
all agree, but I'm
yeah.
just saying, I think it's good to have a motion on the floor.
We
that
have a motion.
That we've addressed it,
Yeah.
you know.
And Joyce, I don't remember, but to the name tags, if it said machine judge, ballot judge and all that, we may have removed the names and it might have been a couple elections ago for security purposes and I don't remember.
They can put their first name, they don't have to put their whole
Oh,
name.
well, I don't know, because sometimes if you read this, they'll come back, oh, I was talking to Sally, where's Sally? If they come back and they're mad. So I don't remember. can
I
double
would
check.
prefer people have their names on their
I would
ballots.
just like to know their first names. I don't care if it's their whole name, but if I know I'm talking to Sally, then I know I'm talking to Sally. And if Sally has a problem, I can say
Yeah, but I
Sally
didn't
told me.
even- Like, when you said it today, I was like, oh, I don't remember any of it, but that might be what happened.
Okay, go.
All right, so we need to get that
So,
letter
we
out.
can fix that.
Go ahead.
We need to get this letter out.
All that.
And I'd like to see a draft, if you could email it to us, and so we could wordsmith it all.
In the prosecutor's office,
Yeah.
needs to look at it too.
Yes.
But we need to get that out now, because if we have any locations that have to change, that's a monumental effort.
Oh, I know.
So
Okay,
I would
motion,
say,
And we have a second.
and we've had discussion, let's, the director call the roll.
Ms. Calpasas?
Yes.
Attorney Vitras?
Yes.
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Okay, so let's stand in recess until 7:30.
We'll take these things.